Imagine a scenario where, the cursor on your laptop isn't actually being powered by a microchip sitting on your desk. It's actually powered by a massive server rack floating in a low Earth orbit.
Which sounds completely like science fiction, but it is becoming a reality.
It really is. Welcome to Deep Dive 505 of AI Brief. I'm Amin, and here with Leah, we are doing a deep dive into the massive shifts that are pulling artificial intelligence completely out of the browser window and embedding it directly into the physical world around you.
Because the era of just typing into a little text box is ending.
For sure. Today, we are looking at how Google is weaving intelligence into the very bones of Android while launching an entirely new category of hardware. We're also going to track a literal space race taking shape as tech giants look to the stratosphere for their next data centers. And finally, we will examine the fascinating, slightly chaotic ways corporate employees at Amazon are gaming internal algorithmic scoreboards just to look busy.
I mean, today's updates really show AI escaping that browser window. It is moving into our physical devices, our daily office politics, and even into low Earth orbit.
So, to kick things off with today's new updates, we really have to start at the operating system level, specifically with what is happening at Google. They just dropped this massive surprise they were calling their Android Show event.
Which is wild timing, considering their highly anticipated I/O developer conference is literally next week.
I know, why step on your own toes?
Yeah.
But the hardware they announced is huge. They are rolling out these AI-native laptops this fall, dubbed Googlebooks.
And they built these with essentially all the major players. Dell, HP, Lenovo, Acer, Asus.
All of them. But, the hardware is really just the physical vessel for the massive software architecture changes they're rolling out.
Right.
The laptops are just the delivery mechanism for a Gemini intelligence system designed to run on device.
Completely on device.
And the features they showcased are just wild. They're introducing this AI-infused interface called the Magic Pointer Cursor. There's a new Create My Widget tool, and they are running Gemini auto browsing natively within Chrome.
It is so much functionality packed into the local system.
Definitely. My personal favorite, though, is a dictation tool called Rambler. It actively listens as you speak and just automatically strips out all your filler words and stumbles in real time, leaving perfectly clean text.
Oh, wow. That would save so much editing time.
Tell me about it. But if you think about traditional computing, what Google is doing here feels less like installing a new piece of software and more like growing a central nervous system for the device itself. You aren't visiting a chatbot. The intelligence is natively aware of your whole system.
That is such a crucial context, because Gemini Intelligence is essentially acting as Android's cross-device platform now. It seamlessly blends Chrome OS, Android, and Google Play.
So it connects everything.
Absolutely. Because it operates with full on-screen context and has agentic capabilities, it can take actions for you. And honestly, Google is effectively beating Apple's anticipated Siri revival to the punch by rolling this out now.
They're planting their flag early. But to seamlessly connect that device-level AI to the back end, we have to talk about infrastructure, because that deep integration still requires an astonishing amount of computing power.
A bottleneck we are hitting very quickly on Earth.
For sure. So ask yourself, where do you put the data centers when Earth simply runs out of physical space? The answer apparently is space. Google is actively exploring a rocket launch deal with SpaceX for orbital data centers.
Which is such a massive logistical pivot.
It is. And the financial ties have been sitting in plain sight for almost a decade. I mean, Google invested $900 million into SpaceX back in 2015.
Giving them a 6.1% stake? Right. Wait, I shouldn't ask. It gave them a massive stake.
Spun on, a 6.1% stake. And Google Vice President Don Harrison actually sits on the SpaceX board. So now we're seeing the projects manifest. Google's Project Suncatcher aims for prototype satellites by 2027, built with Planet Labs. Meanwhile, SpaceX filed for 1 million satellites pre-IPO.
1 million satellites. That is unbelievable. And it makes sense when you consider that Anthropic just finalized a multi-gigawatt orbital compute deal with SpaceX last week.
A multi-gigawatt deal?
It is staggering power. But it is funny, contrasting this literal space race with what OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said recently in New Delhi. He basically called orbital compute ridiculous and totally irrelevant for this decade.
Well, I have to jump in and push back on that skepticism. I mean, Historically, betting against a combined engineering and capital effort from Elon Musk and Google is rarely a winning strategy.
They definitely have the capital and the rockets.
Absolutely. And the physical advantages of space are undeniable. If you put a data center in orbit, you suddenly have access to unfiltered continuous solar power. Plus, you have naturally frigid ambient temperatures for cooling.
Which completely solves the water and grid energy crisis data centers face on Earth.
Spot on. Regardless of Altman's skepticism, the sheer volume of capital aligning behind Project Suncatcher suggests this is a very real infrastructure shift. But let's bring things back down to Earth. While billionaires look to space, everyday employees are navigating how AI impacts corporate metrics.
The human element is always where it gets messy.
Always. So Amazon recently set an aggressive goal for 80% of their developers to use AI on a weekly basis. To track this, they started monitoring model and token usage, essentially creating internal staff rankings.
And they introduced that internal tool, Meshclaw.
Yes, Meshclaw. It's an internal tool for AI agents, allowing staff to deploy code, sort emails, and cross software boundaries. But the fallout is incredible.
The token maxing.
Token maxing. Employees are literally burning tokens on useless tasks just to climb the scoreboard. They're running loops and generating massive outputs just to look busy to the algorithm.
It is such a classic example of perverse incentives. Amazon claims this isn't for performance reviews, but they actually had to hide the stats.
It is the ultimate expression of Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure.
For sure. The core lesson here is that rewarding raw usage over actual outcomes creates a situation where the scoreboard completely warps the actual work being done.
It really does. Well, let's pivot to everything else happening in AI today. Over to you for the rest of the headlines.
I can take it from here. We have a very robust slate of developments today across several sectors. Taking a slightly slower, wider look, let's start in biotechnology. Google's Isomorphic Labs just secured $2.1 billion in funding for drug discovery AI.
Wow, $2.1 billion. That is a massive injection of capital.
It really is an aggressive move. Demis Hassabis even made a very clear statement regarding this, saying that the #1 application of AI should be to improve human health.
Which is a bold mission statement.
Absolutely. Moving to the creative space, Krea just dropped K2. This is a new in-house image model, and what makes it interesting is that it is built specifically for aesthetic diversity and stylistic control, rather than just chasing photorealism.
Oh, I saw this. It has that mood board feature.
Spot on. The mood boards blend the underlying style of your reference images into a single cohesive output. Now, in the automotive sector, Rivian has rolled out a new AI assistant that actually controls EV hardware.
So it is deeper than just the navigation screen.
Much deeper. It chains agentic tasks together, and you trigger it via a steering wheel button or simply by saying, "Hey, Rivian!" Finally, we are seeing some significant friction regarding security across the industry. A hacker planted data stealing code dubbed Mini Shai Hulud inside 42 agentic NPM packages.
Oh man, a supply chain attack.
A very concerning one. And concurrently, over at Meta, employees are organizing protests against the company's use of internal mouse tracking software. Meta is using this data to train AI agents, and the workforce is pushing back hard against that surveillance.
It is such a striking dichotomy to observe, On one side of the ledger, you have AI curing diseases with billions in funding. And on the exact same day, it is causing profound workplace friction and security nightmares. So let's shift gears and dive into today's trending AI tools. I want us to rapid fire through these top tools and give you a specific practical use case for every single one.
I love looking at the practical applications.
Me too. First up on the list is Pave. This skips prototype purgatory entirely to let you build custom, no-cost AI apps. So say you run a small business, you can instantly spin up a bespoke internal tool without hiring a developer.
Which completely lowers the barrier for smaller teams to build custom software.
Absolutely. Number 2 is Krea 2, which we just touched on. This is the image AI with style transfer and mood boards. The use case here is graphic designers matching a demanding client-specific brand aesthetics perfectly without spending hours on text prompts.
Dropping the brand assets in and letting the AI extract the DNA.
Spot on. Third is Step Image Edit 2. This is StepFund's lightweight image editing model. So a social media manager could use this to make fast, on-the-fly graphical tweaks right from their phone at a live event.
No heavy processing overhead required.
For sure.
Yeah.
Fourth is GPT Real-Time 2. This is voice AI that actively thinks, calls external tools, and maintains flow. If you manage a customer service department, you can deploy a live line that finally actually sounds human.
It can pause, look up a shipping delay, and return to the chat organically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fifth on the list is Runway. High-quality AI video generation and editing. So a solo creator can generate cinematic B-roll of a sunset without even owning a camera or flying a drone.
Unlocking so much creative freedom.
Yeah, definitely. Sixth is Hoogly. This tool turns raw employee voice into meaningful action. An HR department could use this to extract real, actionable insights from thousands of open-ended, company-wide feedback forms instantly.
Finding the actual signal in all that noise.
Precisely. Seventh is content pilots. It turns long-form video into endless shorts and reels. If you are a podcaster, you use this to automatically repurpose your long interviews for TikTok without manually scrubbing the timeline.
Every video editor's dream, honestly.
100%. Eighth is Open Vibe. It turns Claude Code or other agents into a sauce tutor. So dev teams can use this to onboard new hires onto incredibly complex proprietary software.
Saving your senior developers countless hours of manual training.
For sure. And finally, number 9 is abstraction. It generates on-brand SVG illustrations and exports them as React components. A front-end developer can use this to get immediate web assets without waiting for the design team.
You know, looking at that whole list, these tools collectively solve the blank page problem. Whether you are a developer, a creator, or an enterprise worker, they eliminate the friction of starting.
It is a massive productivity unlock. You just refine the baseline instead of staring at a blank screen. And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive. I want to leave you with a final thought that bridges everything we've unpacked today. Next time you move your mouse on a laptop, ask yourself, how long until that tiny, seemingly simple cursor is actually being powered by a satellite floating in low Earth orbit?
It is a wild, profound shift in how we interact with our machines. The infrastructure is quite literally being built above our heads. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today to explore it all.
Absolutely. Make sure to follow and share the deep dive if you found this insightful. See you in the next deep